In this video, I'm exploring an abandoned hospital parking garage. Here's the history of this parking garage. After 75 years of use, it closed on Saturday, June 12th in 2021 at 8 a.m. It used to be a parking garage for a hospital. Here's some interesting information about parking garages. As more and more people got cars, the need for a place to park was growing bigger and bigger. Parking became a problem, and cities were looking for a solution to park as many cars as possible on as little space as possible. The first cars weren't as weather resistant as today's cars. Back in the days, they had open tops, leather seats, and were remarkably sensitive. Therefore, they had to be parked inside where they were safe from the cold, the rain, and other bad weather conditions. The first parking garage looked like other buildings where people would store stuff. A car was by most people considered a machine, but nothing more than just a machine. In contrast with today's idea of cars, the parking garages blended in with the neighborhood. You couldn't really tell that they were places to store cars. Sometimes parking garages were horses' stables, where they would charge the same as parking a car as they did for stalling a horse. In this section, we're going to talk about multiple storage parking garages. The first multi-story parking garage that we know of was built in 1918. The parking garage was built for a hotel and was designed by Holland Bird and Roch. The parking garage was several blocks away from the hotel. When the hotel was demolished in 1976, the parking structure stayed. Unfortunately, the parking garage was demolished in 2015. There are two different types of ideas about cars. One was that it was just a machine, and that others one was about the feeling of freedom that was associated with driving the car and being mobile. These two different ideas were responsible for two different types of garages: the machinery type garage and the garage with ramps. In this section, we're going to talk about mechanicalized garages. The early parking garages were staffed with parking attendants. You didn't drive your car inside and to parking spaces yourself. You would drive up to the garage, hand your keys over to the parking attendant, and he would take care of the rest. The car was placed on a platform, and with the car lifts and turntables, the car would automatically be moved to an available parking space. In the 1920s, there were different designs donned up for car lifts to move cars from one parking deck to another. One of these designs was called the, quote, double hexed quote, because it had two spiral ramps to move from the cars in the structure. There were mechanical garages were for runners of the automatic parking system of today. But these types of garages didn't have one thing: the freedom to park your car yourself and enter and exit whenever you wanted. In this section, we're going to talk about garages with ramps. The parking garages with ramps to move from one floor to the other made it possible to park your car yourself. It was a challenge to build the ramps. They couldn't be long enough because then you would lose parking space. But it couldn't be too short and either steep because otherwise cars wouldn't be able to drive up the ramps. These types of parking garages did come with a downside. Less cars could be parked in the same amount of space, in contrast to a mechanical garage, because the ramps took more space. This meant that garages not bigger in order to have enough capacity. The parking garages with ramps is the one that replaced the automatic parking garages, even with all the disadvantages of the ramps. The ability to park your car yourself was more important to people. Having to turn your car over to an attendant and then having to wait in line at the end of your day for your car to appear again was considered inconvenience. In the 1950s, there was a construction boom when it comes to parking garages. There were several inventions in the construction and designs of the parking ramps. The construction boom was because parking garages allowed people and employees to spend time and money downtown. Also, self parking became more popular. Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and also don't forget to hit the notification button so you'll know when new videos get released.